This is the Grandma's Breakfast Podcast. Boop, 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 boop.
It started halfway through you saying that.
Damn it.
DJ Ivan in the house. What's going on, y'all?
Yo, what up?
guys?
What's up?
How's everybody's quarantine going? Let's stop asking that question. That's gonna be like.
Dude, I don't even know what day it is today. What day is it?
I know, what the
It's
heck?
Saturday. It's Saturday, April 4th.
Yeah.
Oh,
April Fools. It's April 1st. So.
Jesus.
It's like Groundhog Day, dude. Fuck.
All right, dude. Who prompted this? Frank, right?
What do you mean? Oh, this
That's
idea.
Prompt?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So today's topic is we're talking about dreams and dreaming. And so it should be a fun one because I keep trying to figure out if we're talking to like an audience or just us, because like if people listen, I feel like
I'm talking
just have
to
it like a hangout.
literally a million. I'm
It's just
literally
like we're
talking
hanging
to
out.
a million people. There's a million people watching this right
there's
now.
a million people watching.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, I just thought this would be an interesting topic because it kind of everybody can relate to it. You know what I mean? And it's kind of a trippy one. So we're gonna talk about dreams, specifically with your personal experiences. I'm kind of interested to know your guys' is like if you have any reoccurring dreams or like just any weird ass dreams or anything you really have to say about dreams. So yeah, well, kind of like we'll just kick it off. Have you guys? I've been hearing a lot of people say that they've been having weird ass dreams lately too, and I have a feeling it's because of this whole situation.
It might be. I think it might be.
Yeah.
Because people have like nothing really to distract them except like movies and shit. Well, I don't know, actually. I would think like people would be drinking a lot. Actually, people are drinking a lot, huh?
Yeah. Alcohol is like one of the number one things selling right now.
Damn, dude.
Dude, there's a line outside of Bevmo, and I was like, that's the first time. Which I'm kind of trying to understand how they are still open, because I'm like, how are they considered essential? They sell liquor, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah, psychologically essential. Dude, people can't be alone with their thoughts.
Nope.
I think it's hard. It's hard, dude. Well, it's a hard thing, I think.
It's a weird like thing to go the contrast of like being busy to like not being busy, and you're like I've been meditating a lot more, which is awesome.
Nice.
But I'm realizing, fuck, like I was just on the go, like constantly. I'm sorry, I cursed. I don't know if that's what we want to do.
Oh, dude, fucking.
Oh.
Yeah,
This is the internet. You can say whatever the
fucking
fuck
curse,
you
you
want.
fucking guy. You piece of shit.
You
Fuck.
got-
Cut balls.
I was gonna say a much worse word, but I won't say it. Yeah, I feel like as far as that, like I've been having more thoughts about things and like my dreams. Though I haven't had like a whole lot lately. Like they've been I remember like talking about my dad a lot to someone the day before, and then I had just had this crazy like dream where I was talking to my dad, like I was hanging out with him, and it's weird. He called me literally right before this, and I was like,
No way.
I can't really talk right now. I'm sorry, I really want to, but I'll call you afterwards. And he just wanted to see what I was up to, how I've been doing, and it was weird.
That's a trip. That's like your.
Do you remember the dream at all, or?
I remember because the conversation I was having with my friend had to do with me not feeling good about him, like about some of the things that we were growing up and like certain things that were like kind of sensitive subjects, like, and like that I told him like I don't think I can say anything really nice about my dad right now, and that kind of hurts. Like right now I don't have anything really nice I want to say about him, and maybe I should talk to him about that.
Damn.
And then I don't know. Then the dream was like about getting to know him more, or like him visiting me and us like hanging out and stuff. So I don't know.
There's some subconscious
Dude,
stuff going
yeah.
on there.
Dude,
I kind of
definitely,
feel
man.
like because a lot of people, I've been hearing a lot of people telling me that they've been having some weird dreams lately, and I was kind of thinking it doesn't really surprise me because I feel that sometimes when you have it's kind of a lot of psychological things going on right now that's messing with people because your normal day-to-day has been broken, and like maybe you're not like suffering this crazy trauma, but it is a little I think it might be like subconsciously traumatizing people even though like, we're not really aware of it. And so maybe it's like your brain's way of kind of dealing with the fact that like your normal day-to-day schedule has just completely
Well, gee, I don't know about you guys, but for example, like my mom, like she watches the news 24/7.
No.
All the time, gee. Like she's constantly like getting freaked out, and like she's constantly calling me because she lives in Texas, and she's constantly calling me. Just like I remember the first day that she called me, gee, she was like almost crying.
Dang.
It was, I'm really worried because like it was getting bad here. It was barely getting bad in California. And like she was telling me like come back to Texas or like let's go to Mexico and shit. And she was like crying. And like ever since then, like every time I talk to her on the phone, like she's like freaked out.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And she's like, it's
That's
because
definitely-
I tell her it's because you watch fucking like, first of all, like you watch like fake news from Facebook, like you get your information from like all these like sketchy
News outlets.
sources. Yeah.
Yeah.
But she's like constantly freaked out. She's constantly freaked out. And same thing with my aunt here. Like she's like freaked out. Ivan can tell you.
It's definitely traumatizing people right now for sure. It's just breaking their normal day to day.
You know what's
Kind of
crazy?
what?
Is like even right now, like how everyone's at home and they're quarantined. My dad brought this up to me. This has happened way before this, but like he's been retired for like 4 or 5 years. But before he retired, he told me about a lot of friends who retired early and ended up going back to work. Some of them fucking got depressed because they had nothing to do. They were freaking out and like they needed something to do, so they had to go back and do something. But my dad's not like that. He's always doing projects or building something. He's like, I don't know what the hell their problem is, you know? But like it's just crazy that mentally people are get like that. Like, all right, I worked 30 years, now it's time to relax. Okay,
Yeah.
I relaxed for 2 days and I'm freaking out.
Now
what
what?
do I do?
Yeah.
Now it's
Yeah.
like
Some people kill them. Some people kill themselves too. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think it's a
dude.
problem of the soul,
Yeah.
dude. I think it's a problem of the soul. And I think that thing you were talking about, Billy, that whole thing about like that dream, I think you should like pay attention to it, man.
Yeah, I
Maybe
think
like
so
write it,
too.
maybe like write it down. Like this book I was reading, like
Oh,
talks
that's a good
about
idea.
like what?
No, I said it's a good idea to journal dreams. I did that for a while, and I came out with some pretty trippy shit. That's like because the thing about dreams is like sometimes you forget them, and you're like, fuck.
Yeah, no, there's like that's a form of psychotherapy I learned. Like, I went through like a lot of shit like last year, and one of the things that I started doing was like journaling my dreams, and I started noticing that like things about my life were like getting like worked out in my dreams. I could tell
yeah.
you, I could tell you like one. It's a fucking really weird one.
Yeah.
All right,
please.
dude.
Brent.
So I had this
Bring
dream.
it.
I know most of you guys know this dream. I don't know if Billy knows it, but in this dream I was like fucking this girl. And
Was she hot?
well, like the thing is you
Did
couldn't
she
see
have
her
titties?
face. Like she, well, actually, yeah,
Did
she
she have titties?
was
She had
mostly like her
butt?
ass. She just had like a really big
She had
ass. Like,
hair.
she has a real
Okay.
big ass. Like it was a fucking like nice booty.
It's a good start.
And I was like, like hitting it, and I pull out,
Good man.
and then I fucking like go back in, and then before I go in, like she like pops out like a dick,
What the
Like-
fuck?
like in between her ass and her pussy, like a dick pops out.
the gooch?
This
the
this
gooch.
podcast went from like 0 to 100. Really
Well,
quick.
these are dreams, dude.
These are dreams.
Oh, I love it. I
These are
love it.
dreams.
But in my dream, I go to like try to fuck her, like still like in her pussy, right? But the dick keeps smacking my dick out of the way, like it just fucking like.
Playing swords with you, dude.
They
No,
always
like,
do.
it was like pushing it out of the way. Like I kept trying to fuck her and it wouldn't let me,
It's
You know?
literally cock blocking you.
dude. And that's where I got to. But hold on. You're jumping the gun. You're jumping the gun. All right. So like I give up and I leave the room. And when I like open the door, I'm in like a bayou, like a fucking like swamp. And I'm a detective. And some guy's like briefing me on like there was a murder. And it was my ex-girlfriend. My ex-girlfriend was killed. And she was like, I had to find her body.
Oh shit.
And I don't know if you guys know, but like I'm like pretty much still like I think about her often,
Mm.
And in my dream, like I'm looking for her and like I'm wading through the water and I find her. Like I find her like I think she was face up, like just laying in the bayou. But like when I walk over to her, like she's like this tiny little doll. And like I pick her up and she's like all broken and shit. And I don't know, like someone told me, like I heard like someone say like you have to breathe like life back into her. So I like went like, and she like woke up. And that's when I woke up.
Dang.
That's a
And
trip.
when I woke up, I was like, what the fuck was that dream? Because I don't know if like you guys have it where you know that your dream means something. Like it's like what
Oh,
there was
yeah.
something
Yeah.
in that dream that like meant something.
Absolutely. I
Yeah,
definitely believe that.
So like I was thinking, like, what the fuck was that shit? Like am I like
I have
Am
an
I-
idea of what one part means.
I know what it means, and I was gonna
Oh.
like tell you like what it is.
Okay.
And this took me 2 days of like thinking about it. That's what I mean. Like it took me 2 days of like consistently thinking about it, writing it down. And like I was like, dude, what the fuck? Am I gay? Like, am I like, am I like, I don't know. Like I was just like, what the fuck is this shit?
If the tips touch, then you're gay. But I mean, if not the tips, then you're fine.
Hey, it's only gay if you get your homie pregnant.
That's
Let's
true.
continue.
It's very true. It's
Wow.
very true.
So hey, what
It's
did
in the
it?
book.
What did it
So,
mean though?
Alana is my image of love, and like
Ooh.
that was, and she was broken. She's dead, and I won't be able to like move on and get like like move on and like get any other girl until I breathe life back into my image of love.
Wow.
And
That's
I was literally being cock blocked by that, and I
That's
knew it.
huge.
Like when I fucking like when I came up with like that's fucking what it means. Like I know it was what it means because I don't know. Like when you have like
Yeah.
when you realize something, it's like fuck. It hits you like a ton of bricks, kind of.
It's crazy when it happens like that too, because it's almost like an epiphany, like to the point where you're like, there's no doubt about it. Because sometimes I have dreams where I'm like, that could have meant this, or it could have just like been some random ass thing. But there are like some dreams that I've had that it was like crystal clear that I was like, that is literally in my face. Like, here you go, here's a fucking message. There it is. And I really feel like that's your subconscious. Like when you kind of don't take time to process shit or figure things out, you have your brain has a way of like keeping itself distracted from what you probably need to deal with by pushing all that shit kind of deep down in your psyche. And I kind of feel like your dreams have this way of going in there and making sort of this production. It's just like a giant metaphor that like is here you go. It's so subtle, or not subtle. Sometimes it's not subtle at all, but like the way it delivers it sometimes it's kind of like you don't really get it till, like you said, it took you 2-3 days to like really sit there and go, holy shit. But I've had some dreams where I woke up like, whoa, like that's for sure what that
I think
meant.
you nailed it, dude. I think that's exactly what it is, bro. I think that's exactly what dreams are.
That's a pretty intense dream. That's really intense, dude.
Hey,
That's
real
cool.
quick, we do got like less than 4 minutes left.
Right when we got on a roll, dude.
That's because we spent 45 minutes talking about black men's penises before we started recording.
All right.
You
You want to end it now and then just restart it?
Yeah, let's go ahead and do that.
All right.
All right, we'll be right back.
That's the point. All right.
Oh, nice.
We are recording.
Tight.
Welcome back. Welcome back.
So who is making their last point?
I think we were talking about your dream and the fact that that's a really powerful dream, and like that I kind of feel like dreams have that ability to allow your subconscious to kind of like come to light when maybe there's a message. But then I don't know, man, it's so weird because then a lot of dreams sometimes they don't really have like a whole lot of meaning. So sometimes I wonder if it's like a split between like,
I think so too. I don't think
maybe
they
it's just-
always mean something.
yeah, sometimes you just have like random dreams where you're like, I don't know, I'm not even trying to make sense of that.
Yeah.
What is the character in Tropic Thunder like? I'll see you in my head movies.
Oh yeah, Simple Jack.
Yeah, Simple Jack.
I forgot about that.
Very, very fucking dumb. Yeah, I remember like having some gnarly ass dreams. I mean, I still do, but like I remember there's like a kid like having dreams about like flying dragons and like having these weird, crazy emotional dreams like where I met the love of my life and like we went on these crazy adventures.
Dude,
And,
I had
like,
one like that too. That's awesome.
Tell us about it. What's up?
Let's hear it.
I remember like I must have been like fucking junior high to like high school, like just having a dream about a girl that I was like, oh my god, she's the love of my life, like, and then I feel like in dreams you don't really ever see faces. I think that's like a thing for a lot of people, but like I just remember thinking like she's the one, like, and like it went exactly the way I wanted it. Like we met, we talked, like then we fucking like fell in love. But then that shit'll like transition into like, okay, now I'm fucking a detective flying a dragon and like I feel like it's like a weird thing too, like in your dreams when you like, I think a lot of people have this too, like when you go to throw a punch at someone, it's like super slow and you're just like,
yeah.
oh, and it finally hits. I fought the fucking sumo wrestler from Jackie Chan Adventures.
Yeah.
I remember like going like I'm gonna get him, and then like he just like he just like hits his face very softly.
Jesus,
I have-
dude. Do you
I
have
have
the
a theory.
opposite? Do
I
you
have a
ever have
theory
the
about
opposite
that.
where like you just kill someone on accident?
I've never had that
Not
happen.
on accident.
If I've
I've
had
had,
that, I
like-
don't remember.
I've had like I think I've had like that notion where I'm going to punch someone and I think it's gonna fucking like just be like a fucking like this, but I end up like killing him.
That's pretty
And, like-
awesome. That's empowering, I think, actually, because I
I
honestly
freaked out.
feel.
I freaked out.
feel
in my dream.
like I feel like that whole, because I think that's something that a lot of people experience. It's either that, like where you're gonna fight somebody and you feel like your punches aren't doing anything, or like the one where you're trying to run from something, but no matter how fast you run, you can't seem to get away from it.
Oh yeah,
think-
those are scary.
I think those things are about like your inner confidence in you, that you're actually feeling like you're not powerful enough or something like that. And so like in your dream, you're just like, I don't know if I could do this. Because when you wake up, you're like, dude, why didn't I just deck that guy? Like, what the hell? You know what I mean? But in
Yeah.
reality, I think maybe your subconscious is like, I don't know. It might be like a form of like a confidence thing or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
Could be that.
yeah, I
had a-
remember that.
I had a really weird dream. I don't know if there's like any meaning behind this, but I was at a 7-Eleven. An old lady she just needed help. Like she needed a ride home. So I even remember my blazer, my white blazer. Like
Yeah.
I opened the door, I put her in, but right when I closed it, she kind of had her head out. So it closed, and I guess somehow a corner hit like the side of her head. And I go into the car, I'm like, hey, are you okay? And then like she turns towards me, and she's just like bleeding from the head. And then like she just falls back, and like she died. So I'm like, oh shit, I killed a lady. But I went to my house, and for some reason they were having like a party, and I just left her in the car. I'm like, all right, well, like when do I tell everyone that I killed this lady, or what do I do? And
That's
like
weird.
so the whole time I'm like, shit, I killed someone. I'm like, well, it was an accident, but why am I at this party? I'm not doing anything about it, you know.
just fucking like just like
But
All right,
Chris,
there's a-
That's done,
Yeah,
dude. You're
pretty-
like, it's done. You can't do anything about it now.
I mean, she's dead, so you might as well have a shot while you're waiting.
I will deal with it. Just I just want to enjoy this party first. And look forward to it all week.
Before I go to prison for the rest of my life. Yeah.
I
Might as
mean,
well.
fucking why not?
But I remember what I remember in the dream mentally though is I really felt, oh my god, I accidentally killed someone. Like I felt like I killed someone. You know what I mean? That was
Yeah.
scary to me. Like
Yeah,
oh
I've
fuck.
had one of those.
I wonder what that means. That's crazy.
Yeah,
I felt the same thing. That was the same thing.
Yeah, I feel like I've had those, like where I've killed someone on accident. Like, same thing with like a car. Like I drove into someone, and like it was just, like my brain instantly said they're dead. There's like no way. Like they're fucking dead. And just like trying to think what's the right thing to do. Like what's it. Like I don't know what I'm supposed to do. And like I got out and I fucking just turned myself in, and then like. And it was just it was like a shitty feeling of like
Oh man.
of like this is my life, like I'm going to prison, I'm like my life's over pretty much.
Did you wake up like freaked out?
A little
Or-
bit, yeah. I've had
But
another dream. Okay.
Were you like relieved though too that it was just
Oh.
a dream? Like, oh god, it was just a dream. Like, because
Yeah,
sometimes I
man,
feel
yeah.
like they feel so real that you're like waking up in this emotional state. We're like, oh my god, and you're like, wait, okay.
Yeah, man.
All good.
I've also had a pretty gnarly dream where my mom got murdered, and that was
Oh
like
really?
and
That's
like and
That's really ugly.
like I remember going to her funeral and just being fucking pissed and like just like I felt the emotions. Like I was extremely like, and I was in extreme like I was just mourning and I was angry, and then like her ghost visited me, like something out of fucking Shakespeare, like just
What
like
the
seldomly told me like I was murdered, and then like my brain like fucking like for some reason I knew who it was, and I found the person, and like I remember like going to like headed out to go get revenge, and like in a moment I was like, no, like this is not what my mom would have wanted. Like she would have want me to be this way, and like
Who
it's
was
just,
it? If you don't.
I don't even know, man. I think it was just all fictional like circumstances.
Oh, you
Gotcha.
just knew in your head that you knew who did it, but like probably was an actual
It was
person.
Colonel Sanders.
It was
Hey,
in
can't
the
see I'm
library.
coming.
In the library
with a chicken
with
wing.
a chicken sandwich. No,
I'm gonna tell you guys. I'll tell you guys about a crazy fucking dream that I had.
okay.
The thing with me is that for the most part, I don't remember my dreams ever.
That's common.
Like I know that I dream. I wake up, dude, and literally seconds after I wake up, like I have it in my head, and then just like that, it's gone.
Bro,
Yeah.
It's fucking
you gotta
gone.
get a journal, dude.
But this is the thing, G. There's one dream that I had that I feel like it's gonna stay for me. It's gonna stay with me forever because it was a recurrent dream that I had for about 5 or 7 nights before my grandpa died, and
Ooh,
they ended the day that my grandfather passed away.
that's pretty
I
nice.
remember, G, that I would dream that my teeth would fall off, and
Ooh,
I
that's
remember.
a
But this is
thing.
the thing, G. This is the thing. I remember the pain because it hurt, and it hurt a lot, G. Like I remember, it got to the point where I was even scared of going to sleep because I knew I would have that dream, and I know it would freak me out, and I knew most of all, G. Like I knew that it would hurt because the pain was very, very, very fucking real, dude.
Yeah.
And like I was scared, Gene, and I talked to my mom one day, and she jokingly said that, "Oh, that means that I'm gonna die." That's what she said. And like in my head, I'm like, "What the fuck?" Gene?
Like you
And
or
then
your
she's
your
like, "Oh,
mom?
yeah, like really, that's what it means." And I was like, "No way, Gene." So I went to the internet and I started looking up like the meaning of this dream, and of course, I stumbled upon like many web pages that tell you like, oh, that means good luck, that means this,
Yeah.
that means that, yeah. But I found one that literally said like it could mean two things. Um, fuck, I forgot. It could mean something, but it also like one of the meanings was that somebody close to you was gonna pass away.
I've heard that for other things too, though.
Yeah. Interesting.
The most common one I've heard for the
thing is,
teeth
like,
is like,
I
Money,
fucking-
right?
I fucking like the day that my
$7.
grandfather died. That was the last day, like the night before, because he passed away like in the early morning. And the night before, not the night before, but the night before that one was the last time that I had that dream. So the night before that, the night before my grandpa passed away, I didn't have that dream. I had it the night before, and that was the last time, and I never had that dream ever again.
That's interesting.
so you think it was maybe like a message, like
Dude,
almost like a pre.
I mean,
Okay.
how can you deny it?
I could deny it.
How?
Well, maybe
It's
it
just
could be
coincidental,
different for
dude.
everybody. I mean, that could have been a coincidence because I've heard
Every
that
day?
the whole teeth
for
teeth
6
falling
days?
out.
Yeah.
I've heard that the teeth falling out in a dream signifies that you're feeling like you've lost your ability to speak, not like to communicate to people and to be understood, and that people are basically undermining you or almost like gaslighting you in sort of a way where you
Damn,
feel like,
dude. That's
yeah.
fucking deep. That's pretty deep.
And I've heard that because I've read through a lot of those websites, and it's you can kind of see like they all kind of have the same meanings for all dreams, but that one specifically, I remember I looked up, and that seemed to be like a reoccurring belief that's what they thought it was.
That seems to make sense too. Like because like your mouth is like a very symbolic thing. Like the fucking loss of something about it is probably like really
Well,
really deep.
the thing is
Dude, when I used to get high, when I would like smoke weed, sometimes I would like think that my mouth is gonna fall off. And I think it was because like
While you're awake?
yeah, because I think like when you get like high, you somewhat kind of get into some sort of subconscious state while you're awake, And I think it was because I was fighting with my girlfriend often, and I remember thinking like everything that comes out of our mouths is like negative. Like when I'd get high, and I think
That's weird.
yeah.
It is weird.
I have a question for all of you guys. Have you ever had a dream that lasted so long that you felt like, am I dead? Like you're aware that you're in a dream. You're like, okay, I've been in this dream way too long. Am I
Damn.
dead?
No.
I haven't been in one that long, but I've definitely had those dreams where I've come to the realization that I was dreaming. But I think I kind of like freaked out because I was like, wait, where the fuck am I then? And then I did ask myself that, am I dead? And as soon as I asked myself that, I woke up. But
Frank, you used to tell me that you used to dream of a city every night.
yeah, there was this weird, like a recurring dream when I was a kid. Like I literally remember like the layout of this like make-believe city that I've never been to. And it's just weird because I remember that was a dream when I was like pretty young. And for whatever reason, that dream stuck in my head and I can literally still see it like in my head. I don't remember every specific like event that happened there, But it was always I would continue to come back to that like city. And I just thought that was kind of odd. Like I knew my way around this make-believe city. I still do.
Yeah,
That's
shit.
crazy.
Dude,
You
yeah.
draw- Dude, if you were an artist, you could draw it.
If I was an art man, if I was an artist, I could draw you guys some crazy fucking
What
things
was
that I have
this?
in my
What was
head.
this place like?
It was.
Like-
I keep thinking of archaic. I don't know archaic if the right word. What's or gothic or something like?
Gotham. Oh.
No,
Metropolis.
not like Gotham City. More like gothic sort of architecture, I guess you could say.
Mhm.
Where it was like stone, a lot of stone wall buildings, and it was for whatever reason it was dark most of the time. It was like nighttime. Like most of my memories are nighttime. And then there was a water park that I think it was Raging Waters. Like literally, it was like
Just straight
Raging
up.
Waters. I think it was, but like my mind like smashed it down into this like finite water park that I could see like in front of me, but it was actually huge. I don't know how to explain it.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And it was surrounded by a neighborhood. And I remember like walking around it and looking in there and then going inside it. I don't know. I don't think that had any significance other than just being like an imaginative dream. But
Have you guys ever dealt where, I mean, obviously everyone here has had sexual dreams, but you know, when you're younger, for some reason, this is personally what happened to me, where you have sexual dreams as a kid, and sorry,
it's
jump
called
top.
wet dreams.
Jesus,
you
dude.
can say it.
I never had
Yeah,
this.
dude.
Say wet dreams.
We
Has
can't
anyone
upload this
ever
anywhere
fallen
now.
asleep and woken up all sticky? Oh, good old gross and icky.
No, like,
You
so
guys don't do that
bas-
anymore?
And make a
As-
poo poo and a pee pee and
like as a kid, like, okay, if you watch an R-rated movie as a kid, you know, you're just like, ooh, this is, you know, what's going on, you know. So say if you have a dream and you're doing something with a girl, you don't really know what you're doing, but it feels sensational. It feels like really good. But I feel like
Oh, I know
once
what
you
I'm doing,
actually,
alright. I'm just kidding.
Dude, yeah.
Here-
I've
here
had
the-
those dreams.
but hear
My
this
ex is
out.
probably
Now,
watching this like.
but once you actually
Subscribe.
have it, once you actually have sex in real life, I feel like the sensation changes and it's not like as great.
Yeah,
In-
I
in
feel
the
like
dream?
I feel like that.
That
I
happened
feel
to
like
me.
I feel like I had a dream that I had sex and I was like, this is awesome. And then like that was like when I was a virgin, so I was like I didn't really have reference. I was just like, this is awesome. Yeah, putting it in. All right. Probably feels like this.
Did it feel like how it felt, like in real life?
No.
Uh,
You remember that shit?
That's what I'm trying to.
electricity.
The point I'm trying to make is, as a kid, I felt like when we had sex, well, when I had sexual dreams, it felt like, oh man, that felt really good. I just kept jumping on people and humping them. I'm just being honest with you. So like,
Like a
and then-
dog.
Wow.
yeah, I was a kid. I used to watch horror movies. They're, you know, really bad. But then I did weird shit. Like there was a movie called Halloween 4. That was the first time I think I saw a sex scene. And my grandma, she's the one who put the movies on for me, closed the door, and just let me watch it. So one time I locked it, and I rewinded the scene, and I started kissing the TV, the screen. Like, yeah, like I was weird. Yeah. But anyways.
How old are you?
Forward.
You said 17?
Dude,
like
after this is published, they're not gonna let you in front of schools anymore, dude.
I was 5 or 6 years old. But what I'm getting at is after we actually had, you know, like actual sex, I feel like mentally you know how it feels. So when you have it in the dream, like, oh, this isn't like the same feeling. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? I've had some trippy dreams like that where it wasn't like I was straight up having sex, but I think just the idea of having sex or being in bed with like this girl who I was about to. Here's what pisses me off about having sexual dreams. I never get to the point where we have sex. It's always right when it's about to happen, and then something else happens and like it changes, and I'm like, no! I wake up and I'm like, what the fuck? Like literally,
Dude, honestly, that happens to
so
me often too.
frustrating. It's so frustrating. I think that's
Yeah.
like a subconscious. That's like unsatisfaction. That like it's always what you want. Always seems to be right there in front of your face, but
Just
Yeah.
out of reach. Just
And
out of reach.
that-
But I think that
that could
could be
relate to-
person to person. You
Yeah,
know,
that could
some
relate to
people
like
don't feel
like
that.
how you feel about it too. Because if it's like if it's someone that you
Exactly.
are with, like that might be an easy accomplished goal.
I
But like if
agree.
it's someone
I agree.
Yeah,
Like, if
you're
you're like,
rushing on.
like if you're fucking what's his name, Dan Blizzard, whatever the fuck his name is, that rich guy who
Zarian
just
or-
like
yeah.
like that guy
Jeff
probably
Bezos?
doesn't dream about that. He probably just gets
Like
laid
Jeff
in
Bezos.
every dream. No, well him too. Fuck.
he probably doesn't want to get laid anymore. He's just like his dreams where he says no to people and he feels good about it. Like,
No, I'm good. Just iced tea for me, thanks.
you want to play some chess? Checkers?
Check.
Has
you
everyone
guys-
here dealt with scary
What's up?
dreams where something shows up right in front of your face. It never touches your face,
Oh.
but it's like right in front.
Yeah.
You can't close your
Man,
eyes.
yeah, I've had a lot
Yeah.
of nightmare dreams. I love those because I love scary shit. Like
Oh, really?
sometimes, but like I've had dreams like where like
Really?
I'll be in like a haunted house or some shit, and like just this blackness will just like appear, and like it'll be like a creature. I remember there's one where my brother was possessed, and like but there's like this dark entity that only I could see that was just like 7 feet tall and just like looming over him, and like.
What?
And we had a situation where it got so extreme that like the cops like surrounded our house, and only I could see it, so they sent me to like walk to it, and like as soon as I went in, like I had a little mirror, and I went in, and I'm like looking around for it, and then like it's on the other side of the wall, just looking at the mirror, and like, oh shit, like it was fucking way creepy.
That's like
I had-
Inception.
Dude, do
or,
you do you guys remember your first nightmare at all?
I don't remember
kind of.
first.
I
Not my
I
first.
do. I would always. Ever since I was a little kid, I would dream that I couldn't see, but I remember the feeling of falling.
Oh, I hate
And,
that.
Yeah,
like,
and
it
dude,
would
and
be
you're
like-
fucking and you're
then you would-
acrophobic, dude.
Oh, that's horrible. Yeah,
That's
you
fucking
are.
interesting, dude.
What is
Interesting.
acrophobic?
No, dude.
Yeah, afraid of
I
heights.
fear heights.
The thing is, dude, like I would feel like that sensation that you get in your stomach when like
Yeah.
you drop. Like I would
Yeah.
feel that constantly, dude, for like a long time, and I remember just the feeling of falling, and I
Ooh.
would hear like people screaming.
Would you ever
That's
hit
pretty
the
crazy.
ground ever, or would you
No,
just
never,
fall?
dude, never.
Would
And,
you like wake up like and
that
jump?
feeling would be there all the fucking time. It was
Ah.
fucking horrible.
That is horrible.
Bottomless pit.
Dude. Okay,
That's
I
crazy.
want you to elaborate on it, but I would just want to quickly aside. I had this funny dream once where I jumped off a cliff, and I felt the same shit you're talking about, like the fucking like the feeling in the stomach where like there's zero gravity or some shit.
Yeah.
And then this is when I was a kid, and I woke up like on the floor of my room
Oh,
from my
shit.
bunk, and I had a bunk bed, like I slept on the top bunk bed.
So you legit fell.
So I fell off the bed, dude.
Yeah, that wasn't a dream, dude. It really happened.
That shit really happened, bro. Dude, yeah, I gotta, but just as a side note real quick. So if anybody is curious to know how in real life, if you're like on a roller coaster or you're getting that gut feeling when you're going down really fast, that free fall, you want to get rid of that, push your stomach out and it gets rid of it.
Do you know why that
Just
happens?
a side note. Nope, I don't, but someone told me to do it a long time ago and it worked. So every
It's
time I go on a
'cause,
roller coaster now, I push my stomach out and I don't get that feeling.
Dude, it's because the force of gravity going down is equal to the force of, like the force going up. So they're like balanced out.
I'm gonna fucking do it and just like feel much worse. Watch this shit. Like,
No, you're just like,
it doesn't work.
"Whoa!"
My fucking intestines are gonna shoot out my mouth and shit.
Your stomach comes out.
Fuck
you, Frank!
Like a fucking cartoon. My stomach's just like dragging through the air.
I gotta.
That would be
I'm
a
gonna
good dream.
share, I'm gonna share a dream with you that I had a while back. That this was probably one of the most significant dreams I've ever had.
Yeah,
and it
stream
was one of
therapy.
those,
Lay it out.
It was one of those dreams where I was like, oh, okay, this is for sure what it was. So I've told Ivan about this, and I actually wanted to make a music video like based off of this dream because I think it would be kind of a cool one. So I was in a backyard and I was looking at a house from the back, obviously in the backyard, and there was a pool in front of me. So in between me and the house, there's this pool, and so I'm walking to go to the house, and for whatever reason, like in my mind, I was thinking I got to get to this house, I got to get inside of this house, and it starts raining. And in order to get to the house, for whatever reason, I had to walk across this bridge that was laid out in the middle of the pool. And so I start walking across the bridge. And now it's like starting to pour a lot. And it's this like feeling of danger for whatever reason was like, okay, I need to get inside of that. Oh, I didn't realize Jared was waiting. Hi, Jared. Jared! Hey!
Dude, he looks like an
Connecting
anonymous
his audio.
He's
Pokemon.
like, it looks ominous.
Yeah, he looks like-
He looks like he's pissed to fucking be in this specific chat. Like, what are you idiots
I
talking
know,
He's,
about?
it's like the dark web. So,
Seriously.
Hi, Jared.
You
welcome,
look like the
welcome to
dark-
welcome to the podcast.
Hi everyone.
Hey, man.
We were talking about dreams right now.
My dream.
Michael.
So-
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's shaved. He's clean
He's
shaven
different.
today.
He's different now. He's reformed.
You look good, man.
All right. So
Looking good.
I'll continue this story. I was telling him about a dream that I had a long time ago that was like pretty significant. So I'm walking on this bridge and I'm going across this pool to get to the house. And when I'm in the middle of it, I notice at the end of the pool there's like a space big enough to where I can't walk. Like I can't get to the other side. So I turn around. I'm like, all right, well, I'll just go around. I'll go back and walk around the pool. And I turn around, and now the other side is the same thing. And so now I'm stuck on this bridge, and I have nowhere to go. So I turn around, and I'm like, all right, shit, I need to get to the other side. And so, like, just by sheer intention, like, I wanted to get to the other side, I literally moved the bridge, or the bridge moved to the other side, and I was able to get across. And now at this point, the water's, like, coming up to my feet, coming up to my knees, and it's just everything's being flooded out. The whole backyard's flooded out. And I'm looking at the house and I'm thinking I got to get inside of this house because like, to me, that was like safety, you know, like I'm safe inside the house. But the weird thing about the house was that the windows were busted out and it was dark and I couldn't see inside the house. So it was kind of ominous too. Like it really didn't feel that safe at that point. But I'm like, all right, fuck it. I'm going to get inside this house because that's what I got to do. So I start climbing through the window. And at that point, now the water is at the level of the window and the water is inside of the house now. And so now I'm like thinking, now the house isn't safe. So now what the fuck am I going to do? And so now I'm looking up and I can see the water starting to get higher and higher. And I'm thinking I'll get on top of the roof then. So I jump and grab the roof and I'm trying to climb on top of the roof, but the water is rising so fast that at this point, now I'm just like in water and I'm like, there's no safety at this point. And I'm like freaking out in my head and like so scared in this dream that I'm going to drown. And then for whatever reason, like it came to me in my head that I'm like, dude, why am I freaking out? Like, I know how to swim. Like, just swim. Like, why are you trying to like get into this house when you can swim? So I start swimming and then literally it's just like, I come to it and it's like, I'm in an ocean pretty much now. But everything's like sunny. It's beautiful. And I'm like, this feeling of like peace is with me now. And I woke up like that. And I was just, to me, it was just like straight up just telling me like, it was just my belief that I was looking for safety inside of what my idea of safety is. But in reality, it doesn't really matter what happens in my life. Cause at that time I was going through like a lot of bullshit.
Yeah.
And it's like, it doesn't really matter. It just, as long as you continuously believe in yourself and that you have that confidence that whatever is going to happen, you have the ability to get through it. That's what it meant to me. Like, and it was so clear as day. Like as soon as I woke up, it was like no question about it. Like that's what it was.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. While we're on a similar subject, do you guys ever get what is that called? Like vivid dreams, like where you, I don't know if it's vivid or lucid. Yeah, like where you're aware that you're in a dream, or you become aware.
Yeah. I get aware. I think I'm always kind of aware that I'm in a dream, but nothing that doesn't really change anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Have you tried creating once you know you're aware? That's what I tried doing.
Nah, not really, dude.
No,
you should try that.
But you do it? You do that?
I've done that a few times, like just
my
environment around me. Like I was really cold. I remember being really cold in one dream, and I was aware I was in the dream, and so I just like thought about fire, and then it was too much because like all of a sudden there was a whole house burning down. So it went to like another extreme.
Did the house come out of nowhere?
No, I wasn't out of nowhere. Like I was just walking down my street where I used to live, and I was just really cold, and I was like, I need to get warm. You know, I didn't have a jacket, and then I just thought about a fire, and then I looked to my right, and then there's a house burning down.
Is it just like any old house, like random house?
It's my neighbor's house, you know, like so I recognized it. So there's things like that where, I mean, I've done in dreams. But
I've done this before.
Very often.
With weapons. I don't know if you guys ever did that as kids. Like maybe you're in an action dream or a horror dream, and you just keep thinking like, man, I need a gun or I need a bazooka, and eventually it pops up in your hand. That
I can't do that. That's badass. I wish I could do stuff like that.
Here's the funny thing though. I was able to do that more as a kid, but when I was older, nothing was appearing. So I would literally turn my hand, make it look like, the shape gesture of a handgun, and I'll point at whoever, like the bad guy, and I'll shoot, and something will still shoot out even without me seeing the actual gun in my hand.
Dude, thanks,
so-
Frank.
Hey,
So like,
Yeah,
sorry,
Frank,
real quick.
awesome.
I don't want to cut you off. Do you see that? Do you guys see that?
Yeah, I saw it.
awesome.
He's upgraded it. That's
Thanks,
awesome.
You
Yeah, I
did.
saw that.
You did that, Frank, or
No, it said a gift from Zoom. Running out of time.
Look at Frank. He's at it again. Look
That's
at him
dope.
go.
Frank and his millions of dollars, dude.
Dude, I didn't do that. I didn't do
Lives in-
that. Are you
lives
kidding
in
me?
his
I'm a
own mansion
fucking.
in Glendora.
I'm a sound
Flexing.
guy. You think I'm a millionaire? I'm an audio technician. Fuck no.
You're making more money than fucking we are right now, dude.
yeah,
Not right now. I ain't doing shit. Hang on.
yeah. Honestly, I think we're all kind of hurting, except it's Anthony, huh?
I'm okay.
I think you too, Billy. You're working.
Yeah, I have a job. I
Still
feel like
working?
I thought I was gonna be fucked, but like even with like the loss of gigs, I feel like I've been pretty
Oh, yeah.
okay. Yeah.
My work moved online too.
Nice.
Dude, I'm glad you're still working, man. That's badass.
Congrats.
Yeah.
And I think Jared too. Yeah, Jared's working too.
Jared's
Yeah.
essential,
I
man.
think, I think I'm
Jared-
the only one.
I need a
Maybe,
few
maybe
days.
Frank too.
Jared's
I
still
ain't got
the
shit, dude.
Supreme
Yeah, I know.
Court judge still. Awesome, Jared.
What?
still running court cases
Hey.
at home and shit.
Costco's hiring. I may go apply for Costco and Trader Joe's.
Nice.
Talking about.
Oh yeah.
I would be down to work at Trader Joe's. I
There's
fucking love Trader
there's a
Joe's.
shit ton of places that are fucking hiring, dude.
Really?
Like,
Temporary.
well, like yeah, it's probably temporary, but
It is.
like food places are hiring and I've seen like ads and shit like and it's not just like one company. It's just like a bunch of companies need you like to go work somewhere like because people are ordering food because people are still getting food and shit like that's like something that's gone up is people ordering out now and like
Dude.
getting delivery.
My
shit.
homie sent me this video. It was the longest In-N-Out line I've ever seen in my life. Bro,
Really?
not even kidding you. It was like a 2-minute video of him and he's skateboarding pretty fast down the street. He went like 2 blocks and the line just kept going. And I'm like,
You know, isn't that good, dog? I wouldn't do that shit. Like I'd be like,
Yeah.
and if you go in person to order, it's much faster. Just a little life hack.
It's
Well,
true,
yeah,
and
because
it's also
think
it also
about
tastes better for some reason. I don't know.
if you're by yourself in a
'Cause
car,
you're working for it.
if you're by yourself in a car and you have somebody in front of you who has like 5 people in there or 10 orders, it's like you would have been way better off just going in there and getting your one hamburger for sure.
I always do because I always get like fucking something simple like a veggie burger and like and fries. And it's like that's just quick.
Yeah. I just thought that was nuts. I was like, I couldn't picture waiting. I love In-N-Out and I would never wait that long to go
Nope.
to fucking
Me neither.
In-N-Out. I'll just go home and make my homemade In-N-Out.
Yeah.
There's water at home.
Exactly. All right, so wait. So I think everybody has shared some sort of dream at this point, except Jared, right? Or
No, he
Anthony,
just
I don't
did.
think.
I was
Yeah,
gonna.
but that was like a snippet. Let's
It's a snippet. Just a little snippet. Yeah. I mean,
because I wanna kind of go into a little bit more about like more of the physical like aspects of dreaming and what like I don't know if you guys have looked into any of that, like what people believe.
Like
So-
astral projection.
What do you mean?
Well, that's
Mike?
more like that'd be
You-
more. That's cool too. I'm down to talk about that.
You're talking about like what dreams mean and like kind of like.
No, like functionality of like dreaming outside of like meaning and shit. Like
Oh, like spiritual beliefs and shit. Or is that what you mean?
no,
like
I
how
mean
pe-
more like I mean more like scientifical. I guess you could say.
For example?
scientifical.
I think like the psychological component of it would probably be
Yeah.
the scientific component. Because I
Yeah.
can't really think of anything else that it would be.
Like science
Well,
as in
I
like
got-
like the more physical
Well-
parts of it that like yeah they say like you eating certain foods at night you like have like nightmares and shit.
I did read
Oh,
somewhere
yeah.
that
Really? Does it happen in the building?
people say that in your dream suit, every person that you see, every phase that you see in your dreams, it's a phase that you've seen in real life. Like you cannot dream of people that you've never seen in real life.
I don't know. I don't believe that because I've had dreams like actually. You know how you're talking, Billy? You're talking about like how you had that dream where you met the love of your life when you were in high
Yeah.
school. I had a
Yeah.
dream like that too, and that the girl that I had a picture like in my head, I've never met that girl. I've never
Oh
seen
no,
her
no,
in my life,
this is the thing.
but
It's
I
not
clearly
about-
saw her face. Like
It's not about the people. It's not the people you know. It's just people that you've seen. Like you could have seen them on TV or just like passing by, or when you went to Walmart. You don't have to know them. Like these are just faces that you see in real life.
okay, like general, like a person
Yeah.
who looks like that or something.
Yeah, that's like the only thing that I.
Well,
No.
I think what trips me out is like the fact that science really can't tell us what the function of our dreams are. They have ideas of what they have theories, but there's no. I mean, it's kind
Yeah.
of there's not really a way to come up with like, hey, this is for sure what it's for.
Well, I think
Yeah.
psychology is like a science, and I think that the psychology like is like the only thing that it could be applied for.
Yeah, I kind of would feel that way too. It's like it's more of like a number game. If 50 people have this dream and it's because they're struggling for money or some shit, maybe that could be one of those things. It's not perfect, but it's just the research done. And I don't know.
You know the whole thing about like
Hey, sorry,
like what do you think
Anthony,
like religion?
Anthony,
Yeah.
do me a favor. Either mute your mic or put your thing
Oh,
where
sorry.
because your microphone
Shut
is
the
making a
fuck
lot of
up.
noise.
Or make
Sorry,
the bird
sorry.
bigger.
A big bird.
Or just move your microphone away from your
We
shirt or
just
something
call
because it's
Anthony
bumping a lot.
Big Bird.
Hey, Big Bird, what you doing? This was always driving, dude. What's
I
going on?
know. He ain't got time for us.
Oh,
dude.
that's
He's
what
got
you're
shit to
doing.
do.
I always
He's slanging toilet
assumed-
paper.
assumed he was on a treadmill. 'Cause that's what it looked like. He was.
He thought he was
Really
running.
cool.
Yeah, like last week last
And
week.
now he's a bird.
I was like, dude, are you on a treadmill?
I fucking wish he was, dude. That'd be cool. Let's
No,
do the
I-
next episode while running.
I like
Seriously,
that.
all of us just go for a jog.
I'm down.
We'll talk about our
It's gonna
favorite
be
fast
so hard to
foods.
fucking talk, dude.
I know.
it'll be the
We'll talk about
loudest
fast
fucking-
foods or some shit like fast food, like. Oh,
Sorry about
God.
that.
Fastest food.
You good, man? You good?
Well,
Baby.
I've heard a theory about the reasoning, or not the reasoning, but like how dreaming evolved and became part of like a necessity for survival. I thought it was really interesting.
Huh?
But basically, what they said was that, like, think about a caveman, right? In the caveman days, if you're a caveman back in the Stone Age or whenever that was, and you have to survive every day, right? And you have predators that you have to look out for. So if you've never been chased by a saber-toothed tiger, how the hell are you going to know how to defend yourself from a saber-toothed tiger? How are you going to be ready for that? So there's a belief that when you have a nightmare, and that's the interesting thing, is that a lot of people who remember their dreams, they say that a lot of them are negative and they're bad dreams a lot of the time. And that kind of makes sense, that it's almost like a pre-training for your brain to make because your brain doesn't know the difference between being asleep and being real. So like when you wake up and you've had a horrible dream and you're freaking out and you wake up out of breath, it's like because your brain doesn't know that you're asleep. You know what I mean? So it's experiencing it as it's an actual real event happening. And I've had that happen where I've had really emotional dreams where I've woke up crying, pouring tears. Like when I saw my aunt who'd passed away like years ago, and I actually had a conversation with her. I woke up pouring tears because my brain doesn't know the difference. So imagine yourself being a caveman back in the day, and you have a dream that you're being chased by a saber-toothed tiger, and you fight off the saber-toothed tiger, or you die in your dream, or whatever. Now when you wake up, now you have an idea. You've already experienced it. It's almost like a training. It kind of made sense to me when they said that. I was like, well, that's actually like a really good self-defense mechanism, right?
Evolutionarily beneficial.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, it makes sense. Like I can't really see a flaw in the logic. This whole
Someone
thing.
once told me. Oh, sorry. Yeah,
Go on.
you're good. No, it was just a quick random fact about. I don't know if it's a fact. Someone told me apple juice can make your dreams more vivid. Supposedly drinking apple juice.
Oh,
Stuff
really?
like that.
Oh, I heard the same thing
Have you
about
tested
LSD.
that out, Anthony? Big Bird? Big Bird, have you tested that out?
Well, the
Have
thing
you
is,
even done that, dude?
Do you even drink apple
You've
juice,
done it.
bro?
I'm
Where's
just
the
curious,
science,
I want to
dude?
know, like, that
well, the weird
apple
thing is, I had a dream where like I saw a detail between like a chain link fence and like everything around me was just really detailed. And I told the guy at work, I'm like, dude, I had a really vivid dream last night. He's like, oh, you're probably drinking a lot of apple juice. I'm like, oh shit, I was drinking apple juice this weekend. So yeah.
Well, when
I don't drink apple juice, so and I remember a lot of my dreams.
What the
So
fuck is apple juice?
the
I'll
same
try
thing
it.
happens to me,
I'll try
Anthony. When I do LSD,
okay.
it really
Is that-
intensifies my dream. No,
Does apple
When
juice
I
mean
do
LSD now?
those-
Like, is that?
is that the coolest
thing?
slang word?
Yeah.
So
That was-
natural.
Dude, man. Yeah, I'm gonna turn up some of apple juice right now, dog. Right after this.
I got these apple juice tablets.
What is that?
It's fucking.
Is that my
Okay,
saber-tooth tiger?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Let's try it.
Yeah.
I don't know how to draw them, so just
It looks just like
You're
Frank.
a,
Looks
you're a
exactly
good.
Looks
It really
exactly
does
like
look
Frank.
at me.
Let me see.
You're a good little cartoonist. I didn't know you had that in you.
Have you
I like I like
Dude,
characters.
Have you guys like thought about like the
Oh.
religious component of having dreams at all, and like what
Yeah.
religion is like in general in terms of like having dreams? Because like I read like this
There you go.
passage. I read this passage where like this guy was having like foot pain, like in the heel of his foot, and they couldn't figure out what's wrong with him physically. Like they went to the doctor and all that shit. And he had like nothing wrong, so he started going to the psychologist.
What
And
is
then, like,
that really loud screaming noise?
There's a
I hear
guy
that
working.
too.
There's this guy like working on his yard. And he's like,
Oh.
Anthony, can you quiet the bird, dude? Your bird's just humming.
Sorry, I'm an audio guy, so I'm like, what the?
Yeah, I can
is
hear
it like really crazy loud or no?
No, it's just
No,
annoying,
it's-
but
it's-
I can
it's just there.
live with it.
It's like a whistle.
I'm just a big proponent of like, if you could shut it off, shut it off. Hey, there you go. Thanks.
They heard you, dude.
He heard
Yeah.
me.
Sorry, Frank.
I've paid people off before to like when I was filming. Yeah, like
Just
we're
shut
filming
off.
and it was like a really like
That's cool.
intimate scene. And
Uh-huh.
fucking gardener starts going outside. I've gone outside and be like, hey, here's $20. Take an hour lunch.
Y la chona se mueve.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
$20. Seriously. Damn,
Um,
that's cool.
Right.
Hey,
No, yeah,
$20
so this
if you
guy-
told me to go take an hour break, I'd do it for $20. Fuck it.
I would
This guy had a dream that like this fucking serpent kept biting him in his leg or in his foot, and like the idea of what the serpent is, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's like it's always occurring like in religions and shit.
Oh yeah.
So, do you guys think that like religions are just like essentially, a culmination of people's dreams in a way, or like maybe like a blend of reality and dreams?
I've had a thought that before.
Oh, dude,
for
if
sure.
you think about it, like fucking like the apostles, when they were writing the Bible, they said that the Holy Spirit or like visions of angels or God came to them and talked to them in their sleep. That's also what happened with Joseph Smith and the whole Mormon thing.
That guy's gay,
I
dude.
think they probably also they probably also had those hallucinations when they were eating like magic mushrooms and shit too. I feel like a lot of religion came from like hallucinations, like literally eating things like mushrooms. Or,
Yeah, does that even make them valid then? Like I hear shit like that, I'm just
mean-
like, you dumb motherfuckers, like you.
Well, here's the thing though. I'm gonna play devil's advocate because what if all these, let's just say there was some sort of reality to like the spiritual realm, right? Then it would make sense to me that there would be a connection or some sort of gateway in between to like receive that, because on a normal everyday basis, I'm not sitting there getting messages from angels and shit. I'm just living my life. But what would it take to break me away from my normal everyday way of thinking? Maybe it would take some sort of substance to make my mind believe that, hey, now I'm going to go somewhere and trip the fuck out. You
Well,
know?
it also speaks to like the synergistic aspect of like, our relationship to the environment. Like there's like, we eat foods and like foods are external things. And like they have this saying, like you are what you eat, right? Like if you eat good shit, you're going to fucking have like good, like your body's probably perform good. Like similarly, maybe like there's like these plants that just evolve like the synergistic effect of like, amping up our like subconscious, like in the conscious realm,
Well, that's a
I've
trip
been-
what psilocybin does to your body, because it literally connects parts of your brain that don't normally communicate, and that's why people have these like epiphany sort of experiences. Which it could be like, well, it just is, it just so happens that happened. It's like, yeah, but that's kind of interesting that that's the effect of some random fucking plant that you eat. Like,
Yeah.
it could have been any other effect. You could have just died, or like something bad.
I think
or
it's
had the shits.
beneficial. I think it's definitely beneficial to like experience these things.
Dude, let's just drink some apple juice right now and fucking
Nah,
test it.
Go to sleep.
Cheers.
This
Here.
podcast should have been us drinking apple juice and napping.
I'm gonna do it right now. I'm gonna put myself to sleep and I'll tell you what I dream about.
We'll come back
I
in
feel like
20.
we're talking about this in the religious context, dude. I don't feel like people back then were doing it. Like if they were taking any substances, I mean, I don't know. Do you think that they were doing it with the intention of having these visions and shit like that, or they were just?
I think it
Not
happened
only do I
eventually.
believe that, I think it happened more than it happens now.
I think that progressed though, because I bet you it didn't start that way. I bet you it was more of like a survival thing. Like we need to eat, and I saw an animal eat that. I'm gonna eat that mushroom.
Well, dude, just think about it. Like, think
Oh,
about the
shit,
religions.
I'm tripping. You
Yeah.
know, and now I'm talking to God. Let's do that again.
No, but think about the religions, dude. Like, really think about the progressions. Like, polytheism, right? Did polytheism come first before like monotheism?
Yeah.
Like generally,
Yeah.
like it is, and polytheism has to do with like the spirits of the wilderness and like our relationship to it.
Mhm.
And then monotheism comes around, and then all of a sudden, like it's like this detached being, like it's like he's far away.
Yeah, you got to get to him.
Yeah.
Do you
It's
think
no longer like we are a part of it. And I think like when you have an acid trip, or we have like a shroom trip, it's mostly you're being the lines between you and your environment are blurred, right?
Yep.
So I think that's
there's a name
why.
for that.
Huh?
I forgot what the name for that. There's a specific type of drug. It starts with the D. Anyways.
DMT.
Dopamine?
DMT.
No,
DMT?
it's what it does to you. It makes you separate your psyche from yourself. Like you detach from your idea of what you are.
Dildo dust?
Might
Not
just showed me that.
dimethyltryptamine.
Something like that. Yeah. Dildo dust, I think, was more accurate.
Dildo dust, I think.
Yeah. Let's go with that. Let's go with dildo dust.
Yeah, I think
No,
you're
that's a
right.
trip though. Wait.
Hey, Ivan.
Huh.
I just want to relate to the serpent of how you brought that up.
Fuck.
I know you guys, you're gonna laugh at this though. It's just when
Uh-huh,
Passion of the
better.
Christ came out. When Passion of the Christ came out, you guys were like, "Oh fuck, here we go." I saw with my family, and I kid you not, like I was always eating popcorn, and right when it showed the serpent or like the devil, like when that just happened, it wasn't even anything scary. It just showed like a snake moving through the leaves. Like till this day, I always remember it. Like I literally felt like a crazy sting, like on the left side of my chest, like where I'm like, "What the fuck?" Like it wasn't anything exactly with my heart, but like it just hurt like hell. I'm like, "What the fuck was that?" But then I just kept eating popcorn. Until this day, I was like, "What was the?" And so like,
Dude, the progression of your story is just like.
That's like
but what I'm getting at,
story is that you love popcorn.
that is,
That was the
It is
real
really
definition.
fucking good. Like,
Yeah.
relating to the
Love popcorn.
serpent though. Relating to the whole serpent thing and that like popping up and happening right when that happened, I was like, what the fuck? Like I thought about it later, when I was like after seeing the movie, but I kind of let it go. But yeah, because I heard about people dying while seeing that movie, but I don't know if they did that as a publicity stunt. Like
Really?
people were getting heart attacks and all that. Yeah.
That's just.
They said the
Crazy.
same thing about when fucking The Exorcist came out.
Oh, I've heard
yeah.
about that. Yeah.
Heart attacks and shit.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good
Well,
movie.
and then that girl didn't one of the houses burn down or something, and like some girl died in it or something.
No, the fucking
The set burned down.
the set for The Exorcist burned down.
Did somebody die?
No.
The main actress died, didn't she? I thought the girl
That's what I
died.
thought happened. Or no, was that the poltergeist?
she-
The poltergeist, I think
girl
people.
died.
Yeah.
Mm.
The poltergeist girl was the girl
think
that did Ducky's voice in
something
Land Before
happened.
Time, right?
Yeah.
No.
I think it
They
was.
were murdered. I think they were
What?
murdered.
Yeah, her dad killed her, actually.
Oh.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Ivan, don't talk about that. Land Before Time's the topic next week.
That's next week. Before time. Our dinosaurs or
We're
what?
gonna talk about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 next week.
Was Littlefoot real?
Oh shit! Hey, have you guys ever had dreams about the future? Like had visions of the future, and has it
Yes.
ever like come true? Like certain things.
Slightly. Deja vu, kind of.
Yeah, like deja.
More to
I
deja vu.
had a
Straight.
dream when I was a kid that I saw this place, and like I remember it distinctly. Like I remember it like being like a kind of like a house, like a group home or some shit like that. And I remember seeing it, and I was like, that's the fucking place for my dream. And I wasn't sure if I
That's-
saw it once before or if it was like, whoa, did I see this in my mind and then it was a vision or some shit? You guys ever had anything
Dude.
like that?
Deja vu chips me the fuck out, bro. Like
No, dude.
hard. Like sometimes
Yeah,
there's
what the fuck?
it was on for like a couple seconds, and I'm like, oh, hold on. Like I'm talking to someone, and I had to stop. 'Cause I'm like, wait, hold on, I'm having deja vu, and then I like try to continue my conversation, and it's like more and more deja vu, and I'm like, whoa, this is
Yeah,
weird.
yeah. What is that? Is that a chemical thing? Like your brain is just like activating this thing that's like this is a memory, like, but
Yeah.
in reverse or
I think science would
Fucking vinyl,
probably
dude.
try to tell you, like, if science was going to come up with some logical thing, it would probably be something like your brain is creating this idea from something that was similar, so similar that it thinks it already happened. But I don't know if I buy that, because sometimes it's not even that I remember it. It's just like it feels like this has happened before, and I've had this memory or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is either, but I've heard another scientific explanation that was they said that like the signal from your eyes to your brain is just like delayed, like your eyes saw something before you know what I mean?
that. Yeah, I feel like
Oh, that's
it
Like it takes
My-
time
my
for like your
thought
brain to
is like
catch
that.
up with what's happening.
that's
And when
kinda
it does, it's like, oh, I saw it
Yeah,
before, because you did see it before.
But then wouldn't you already have to have had that that memory in your head, like the information would have already had to have been burned in for your brain to go back and like reprocess it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like you see it,
Or
and
maybe
your brain
one
doesn't
eye,
like process it, huh?
like one eye got there faster than the
Maybe
other.
I don't know. Light's pretty fast, so.
But what about the audible side of things? Because sometimes I have conversations with people and it's more of what we're talking about that I'm like, whoa, this is.
Well, there's still signals. I mean, I'm not saying it's true. I'm just saying like the signals like
Wow.
take time to be like processed. Yeah. I don't know if it's true.
I had the dream one though. I guess it's somewhat deja vu, or it could just be a premonition. Where I had one where I was driving next to Morgan Park, and I've never been there. Well, I've been to Baldwin Park, whatever, but my parents were dropping me off to do to work at a festival. And basically, right where they dropped me off at, I'm like, wait a second. I'm like, fuck. I'm like, I remember being dropped off here like in a dream. Like that's what came to my mind. I'm like, I remember this exact spot. I just let it go. I'm like, that was fucking weird, you know. And I've never been dropped off there, you know.
Like
Maybe
you've
as
never
a
been
kid.
there at all?
Like I had that dream recently before that, and I felt like, whoa, this is weird. Like I've had this moment happen before in my life. So that's when I knew it was deja vu. But also at the same time, I felt like I had this in a dream. So I don't know if that's exactly deja vu.
That sounds like deja vu to me.
Maybe
Maybe your kids, like your parents dropped you off there as a kid and you just didn't remember. No, I don't know.
You guys ever hear that George
Possible.
Carlin bit about Vujade?
Yeah.
He's like, it's this feeling that this moment's never happened before,
Yeah.
and then it's gone.
What did he call it? Boujade. What?
Vujade.
It's just opposite way.
Deja.
Deja vu. Yeah.
I like that.
That was a genius bit.
That's pretty genius. So I had this crazy dream once that I was jumping really high, and it was so weird because I looked. I'm not super scared of heights, but when I get to like a really really high, like heights, like I would imagine I would probably freak out jumping out of an airplane. But that's literally how high I jumped. Like I looked up and it felt like I was on an airplane, and it was literally just bouncing. But it was kind of empowering. It was almost like, holy shit, like I'm like a superhero. I can fly.
Yeah.
Like, I think those dreams are like trippy, dude. Like ones where you do trippy shit. Like, has anyone ever tried to fly in a dream?
Yeah. Oh man, I love that. That's my favorite thing. I've had dreams like where I've had dreams where it's been really easy to, and then I've had dreams like where I learned how to fly, and I'm like really slow, and I'm just trying to like. How do I like I'm learning how to like I'm like slow I'm like floating slowly. I'm like I have to either concentrate harder or like do something differently to get the maximum speed.
I think those kind of things are like intention. What's that?
Like astral.
Yeah.
Are you talking about like just flying or just like
no, just like general flying?
Because
that's crazy though. What you're talking about.
Have anyone of you guys that happened to any of you guys? Me laughing at. Sorry.
Who's that? Amandators? It's hard to join the podcast. Tell us about your dream.
No, don't. Disregard Frank.
Disregard.
I didn't mean to change like gears, but just wondering if you guys ever had any experience with astral projection.
I feel like when I was a kid, I had more experience, but I can't remember anything. I remember just thinking like there's a couple times where I thought I did, but I don't remember any of it.
With me too, like I don't know if I actually did.
Yeah.
Felt like it. Like I felt like I was out of my body, and I was whatever I wanted to happen happened. Like I wanted to float. But the thing is, like when that was happening, I wanted to get to a certain point, like a certain place. And I found it harder and harder to get to, as I kept going.
In the dream?
Yeah.
Or it wasn't a dream, it was in real life, I'm guessing, right?
I guess I'm just gonna call it astral projection because like I don't really know what to call it because I don't even know if that actually.
I think the desire part of that's probably the more important thing, maybe.
Yeah.
Like the intention.
Yeah, like where you're trying to get to.
Yeah, and the way that it happened is that like you guys ever have what is it called, sleep paralysis?
Yeah,
yep.
For sure.
A couple times.
I heard this thing where if you just like allow it to happen and not fight it, that's kind of a way of how to like the beginning of astral projection. Like you just like let it happen.
Interesting.
and then
Oh,
you
sorry.
and then you imagine like coming out of your body, but it's like I tried to do that, and I don't know. I don't know if it's real or not. That's the thing. Like I don't.
You know what you should try next time when you get into that?
That's a weird thing.
You should try. I've heard this before. When you're in that sleep paralysis mode, where you're still like kind of awake, but your body is not really able to move, because that's literally what it is. And by the way, your brain actually really does deliver chemicals to your body to like disengage your body, so that you don't play out your dreams and kill yourself. but if you can get to that point where you're still awake, try focusing your attention on the center of your forehead right here. So you almost kind of have to look up a little bit. And just do that, and some people believe that that's a way to get into astral projection. I've looked into astral projection a lot. It's something that seems to recur. And
I used to look into that a lot.
We're doing it right now.
no, but with your eyes closed, though. With your eyes closed, so you would
look at Ivan, everyone.
I'm gone, dude. I'm fucking.
Oh man.
I'm in the balls right now, dude.
Dude, have
See
you
the
guys
names, dude?
you've seen Inception, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
You know that movie was like that was probably, in my opinion, one of the scariest fucking movies, because it was so like they took something so beautiful and twisted it into something so evil that I thought it was fucking genius. Because
Astral projection.
yeah, and that's literally what he was doing, was astral projection. He was in that like realm, but it was like all evil. Like they took him to an evil realm, and I'm like, oh, this is so fucking scary, like so crazy.
Yeah.
Dude, have you guys played Earthbound at all?
Nah, I really want to hear really good things about it. Like, is that just super trippy?
Dude, when I was going through my shit, like almost in the heart of it, like I played Earthbound, like Jared's copy. He has a copy of Earthbound. And there's like there's a bunch of shit about it, about like dreams. About like there's a dream world. Yeah. And then they have like this line in there that says like you're like in your dream world, and then like you're in your subconscious, and you're like hear like all your fears. You're like the shadow, essentially like the shadow, which is like the negative aspect of your psyche. Like here is where it lies, dude, and then assimilating it, it's like how you become whole. And dude, I'm fucking gonna tell you of another dream that like pertains to that, where I think it was because I was playing Earthbound and because I was reading Carl Jung. Like I was like in a room in my parents' old bedroom, which I'm in right now actually. And I was like, I walked into the room, and like the devil is with like some girl.
Oh, of course.
And he's like, I forgot who the girl was.
The devil is the girl.
Girls are the devils. So yeah,
they are. They're also God too.
I think the girl. I don't know if the girl's my ex. Anyway, so like I started talking to the devil, and the devil like tells me like if you want to have like my power, like you have to like kill yourself. Ooh. You have to like commit suicide. And I said, all right, let's do it. And he like slit my throat. He slit my throat once, and like I felt it. Like I felt like my life just kind of like draining out of me. Wow. And then like he did it 3 times. I wrote it down, dude. I have like a better recollection in my book, but dude. I went to sleep. Like I started like dying, and when I woke up, I found myself in like the 2D world of fucking
of Earthbound.
Yeah, Earthbound.
What the fuck?
And there was something about it, like where I realized like I already had his power. Like there was no reason for me to do that.
Oh, damn!
Some shit like that.
Interesting.
I like that.
That's pretty weird.
That is really trippy.
That's like that kind of makes me think about and not to offend anyone, but my thoughts on some religious experiences are that they're chemical based, or they're subconsciously based. Like sometimes, not all of them, because I don't know for sure. Like I have had my own experiences, and I could probably agree and disagree with a lot of different things, but like the thought that you had the powers of the devil kind of makes me feel like that could be a thing.
That could be
like
what?
How they say that could be a thing, like where it's like
I think you're breaking up.
We give this thing the power.
No.
Turn
your Pornhub window off.
Check out what I drew.
Yeah, speak of the devil.
Nice. So good.
Tried my best.
That's awesome.
But
That's actually really good. Wait,
Yeah.
you got headphones?
Can
Oh,
you
there are.
screenshot?
Do the
Wait,
headphones.
I want to
Hold
hear
on.
what you
Can you
were
screenshot that for?
What happened?
How do I
Look
do
what he
that?
drew.
saying.
I fucking think-
Ivan, look what he drew.
I know, I saw it. I saw it.
fucking cool.
It was beautiful.
Oh,
fun.
look who joined us.
Who is it?
Jasper.
Chase. Oh,
up, Jay?
Chase.
Hey, finish that your last.
Yeah, I
your-
wanted to hear what you were saying.
Who, me? Oh,
Yeah.
I don't
Something
know.
about the power of the devil.
Like, did you guys ever see the movie Merlin with Sam Neill? You know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about?
yeah, I love that movie.
There's an entity called Mob or something like Mab, where like at the end of it they just ignore her and she just disappears. Like because we believed that she existed. Like I
Dude,
thought that was
it's
kind of
it's
interesting.
like Freddy Krueger. Freddy Krueger attacks people in their dreams, and at the end of the first movie, they just like ignore him and he disappears.
That's
I don't know.
I've never seen
like Clash of the
Freddy Krueger,
Titans.
so like that always looked like too scary for me when I was a kid.
I think that all kind of comes back to what the Carl Jung idea was, embracing the shadow. I think that kind of is probably like that. Everyone has that villain, and it's inside of you. You know what I mean? And
Yeah. Have
maybe
you guys ever been like confronted with that at all?
With
What do you mean?
The shadow? Cause like I
Like,
could
what
tell
do
you
you
like how it was
confronted?
for me. Because for me it was scary. Like I started having like really violent thoughts, and I was like really afraid of them. I was like, dude, what the fuck? Am I gonna like lose it and just go on a rampage and like kill people? That's what I was afraid of.
I remember that when you're talking about.
And it's like apparently according to like this guy Jung and other like shit that I looked up, like that's part of your whole. And I think like synergizing yourself is like another. It's like a rebirth. That's what they say at least.
I
And I
believe
kind of
that.
felt that. I've kind of felt that too.
I believe that. I think a lot of people want to deny that they have those things inside of them because
Mhm.
nobody wants to look at themselves as that, you know. But in reality, everybody does have that ability to be that dark and have those thoughts. Maybe some people don't have them frequently as much as other people do, but I think it's built into everybody's psyche in some form or another. And if you try to pretend or act like you don't have that dark side of you, I think you're kind of denying what you really are. And I think giving those things its space and respect is important, because if you try to deny it, I think it's more of a fear when people try to deny it. And that's goes back to Carl Jung's theory, and Jordan Peterson talks a lot about that, is embracing the shadow, which is just sort of stop looking at yourself like you're this harmless person, because you're actually not. You can actually do a lot of damage to people, and it's kind of empowering to understand that and learn how to discipline yourself so that
Yeah.
you
definitely.
know what's inside of you, but you're disciplined enough to know that that's not going to bring you what you ultimately want, you know.
Definitely, dude.
Yeah.
Have you guys never like been confronted with any of this or no?
Oh, I mean, I've definitely had pretty horrible. I've never wanted to kill a bunch of people, or had those thoughts to kill a bunch of people, but I've definitely had, like, you know,
To kill one
bad
person.
thoughts. But I've definitely had my
But
own, like,
specifically.
my own demons, for sure. Like,
No, that's how it was for me. Actually, it was just like about it. It was just a general like violent urge inside me. It felt like
you
like
think
I could be standing next to you and just like thinking about like killing you.
were you ever
Yeah.
gonna kill me?
I love you
Was there a
guys.
point where you were gonna kill me?
I don't feel very
They
comfortable.
were just like visions. They were just like
I gotta go. No, I'm just kidding.
honestly, it was like a lot of fear based. It was like I would think it. They'd be like, "Dude, why the fuck did I think that?" And then it would just like cycle in like that.
I mean, we had this conversation, but I think a lot of that, though, dude, has a lot to do with our conditioning. The fact that we grew up at this time where we have these really violent movies, violent video games. Violence is super, like, it's a huge thing in our culture now. It's like that,
Yeah,
and
definitely.
over sexualization of everything.
For sure.
That's why,
dude.
like, every girl I meet, I want to smash on, and I'm like, oh wait, there's a person there too. Like, you got to stop thinking like that all the time.
No,
you
there
know?
isn't.
Is
there
there?
actually isn't.
That's debatable.
That's your conditioning, dude, making you think that there's people. They're
That's
just objects.
unscientifical,
You're right.
dude.
You're right. But realistically, though, everything is either it's over violence is definitely like what's the word, like, it's praise, you know. I mean, it's normal, and years and years of watching that shit, it's programming. So it doesn't surprise me that you have those kind of thoughts, you know.
I think the things that were happening in my life also made it conducive to that, though. Like there were like there's some shit that was happening that I was dealing with that probably like made that rise and shit.
Well,
But
I'm glad you're here and not in prison for murder.
no, I think it's good. I think it's good that like I had it. Honestly, I'm pretty happy that I went through that. But at
That's
the time,
strange.
it was really fucking hard.
It
Dude,
reminds me. Oh, sorry, good.
or it's somewhat related, but like whenever I go for bike rides, it's like every time recently I've been thinking like, man, what happened if I just stick my fingers in the spokes like while I'm going, like in the back, like just reach behind and just put them in there.
I've had those.
And then the thought alone is just like such a fucking horrible thought. Like, oh my god, I'd be so fucked. Like the bike would stop, my fingers would like maybe fucking be decapitated. Like there's so much shit that would just go wrong, and then like and just like why am I having these thoughts? Like it's just
okay.
Like,
Impulsive thoughts. You know, actually, I do remember we had the conversation, and I actually have had certain thoughts like that where I'm thinking like, man, like what would happen if I just like fell off this thing right now? Like my body would just like splatter. Like I'm like, whoa, why am I thinking about that?
Yeah.
Jump out of this moving car.
Intrusive thoughts.
Yeah, intrusive thoughts. You guys should look into the shadow, and then you guys should tell me like if you guys ever feel anything like it's ever like come into your mind at all.
Interesting.
Carl Jung.
It's really interesting shit.
Yeah.
That shit here, Ivan?
Huh?
That book? At the apartment?
It's over here. I have it at. Yeah.
I was gonna look for it.
Don't I think you motherfuckers aren't in the same exact house right now?
We're not, dude. I got kicked out of my apartment.
They switched, so now Amanda and Jared are playing house over there.
Yeah.
That's cute.
I'm over here too. I can hear you guys
Jasper.
fucking, by the way.
About me?
Jasper.
You guys want to hear about my dream?
I fucking do. I want to hear Jasper.
Yeah, what's up with Jasper's dreams?
Oh, man. That's not a same dream. I was hanging out with me and my friend Stewie. You guys know Stewie, right?
Yeah, Love Stewie.
Anyways, I was hanging out with my friend Stewie, and he said, what do you want to do today? I said, what do you think I want to do? I want to get my donut glazed. And it's actually National Donut Glazing Day, so we went out, and just for like a little road trip or something to this. We ended up in this small town. You know, we were asking everybody like, "Where's the nearest donut glazing shop?" You know, get a donut glazed. So
is it just me or
anyway, short story long, they said they don't celebrate it there, and then we ended up getting arrested. We ended up getting arrested for even talking about donut glazing. So I don't know what the fuck was up with that, but that shit was whack, you know. And all in all, it was a good dream. I got paid.
Is it just me or is Anthony's canary on the phone now?
Yeah.
You're dreaming. It's not real.
How did that happen? That's so perfect.
You're just dreaming, dude.
Seriously, that is perfect.
Oh my god.
That's his fucking handle, like his door handle, huh? Like,
I don't
That
know.
motherfucker. He said he's going to get a snack real quick for work.
oh my god, that guy's
Hey,
weird.
Big
dude.
Bird.
That guy's weird. That guy's weird. That guy's weird, dude.
Is that
Jasper, Jasper, what do you think about that? What do you think of Anthony right now?
Anthony, I don't really know the guy too well, but I like his style. I do, man. I think we should hang out me and Anthony, we should hang out. We should
You and the bird.
Yeah, Big Bird. That's his new name now, right?
Big Bird, dude.
All right.
I love that shit.
All right.
The bird's talking on the phone right now, dude. The bird's part of this. So, Bird, what do you think? What do you dream
Hey,
about?
Bert. Hey, Bert.
Hey, Bert. Shut the fuck up, Ernie! I kill you! I'm fucking sick of it! I can't take it anymore! Ernie!
All right. Are we? Do we want to keep going or do we want to stop this?
Yeah, I kind of felt it too. Like I was like, do you guys feel like we're?
I feel
Not
like
done?
we. I mean, I'm trying to think of what.
Did I just? Oh, just because I fucking did my fucking Bert impression,
No,
it's over, dude. You know
no,
what?
'cause
I don't
every
need this
time-
shit, dude. I don't need this.
Wait, real quick. Is that fucking Adam touching God's hand? Only that it's fucking
That's
robot
fucking
Sonic.
robotic, dude. Let me see if I can
Wow,
fucking get
dude.
it. Let's see. Let me just do this real quick.
No. Oh!
Start. That's fucking dope. I love that.
Wow,
The fucking,
dude.
who's the artist? Michelangelo? Is that it?
That's what I
think
thought it
so,
was. That's what came
yeah.
to mind.
I think it's
But he was a
Michelangelo.
sculptor, wasn't
It is my.
No, but he's a painter too. No, I don't
he?
know.
Yeah, I think he was too.
He's the one who did the chapel thing.
The
Is that what that is?
Sixtine
The one that did the Sixteen Chapel and the David.
Oh, that's cool.
That's right.
statue.
Have you guys seen the play on that one too, where it's like
Yeah.
a literal painting, but it's God squirting what is it?
God squirt.
No, he's
God
squirting.
squirting, dude. I love
He's
any
got a,
message with God squirting.
I know. He's got a not antibiotic. God damn
Dude,
it. The
fucking
thing that's all
Billy's
sold out right
phasing
now.
in realities, dude.
Anyways.
Look at him. He's phasing in between realities.
That's pretty badass. That's a cool filter.
What's up, bitches?
I'm gonna end
What's
this
up, my
recording,
hoes?
and then we can keep on this if you want.
Have an outro, dude.
All right, we're recording.
Billy, you should do it. Oh my god.
No,
Wow.
I don't want to do it.
You already did it. I mean, oh my god. dude.
It almost like I'm blurred.
All right, you crazy
Okay.
This is
people.
not
So,
going on YouTube anymore.
Not this part. Not this.
You
All
know,
right.
I wasn't gonna edit shit at all, right? I was gonna upload it straight.
Yep. Damn right.
All right, cool. Well, thanks for stopping by.
Bye.
Yeah, thank you guys. We talk about dreams. Tune in next time. We're gonna be talking about some other cool stuff.
Talking about
And,
huskies on hats.
Follow us on the gram, on the Instagram.
On the
What's our Instagram called?
I'll just call it Grandma's Breakfast if it's not taken.
All
I
right.
can find out right now.
We could also
Follow us on the official Terry Crews. That's definitely us. All right, that's it. That's all I got.
All right, guys.
All right.
Good
Thank
episode.
you for tuning
Until
in.
next
Thanks-
time.
Thanks on my homies.
Bye, y'all.
Boy.
Bye.
How do I stop this recording? Oh.
Just
Big
the same
stop
button,
button.
man.